Well, hey fans, welcome back to the 4th annual JanuScary special, and today we're talking about presents. So before I get to the rest of this review, I'd like to thank the sponsor for this video, MoviePass. So MoviePass is back and it's better than ever. It's a subscription-based ticketing service, and I've been using it for a few months now, and I just think it's great. And they have this neat new black card, and it feels great, and it's very easy to use. And unlike your AMC A-List or your Regal Unlimited, you can use MoviePass at almost any theater, and it is very simple to use. They now go off of a points-based system, so you pay every month, and that will vary depending on the market that you live in, and you'll get a certain amount of points to use for movies. And the price in terms of points for the movies varies depending on the day of the week that you go to the theater, the time of the showing, and how recently the movie has been released. So what you'll do is you'll go into the app, you'll click the movie that you want to see, unlock the card, and then pay. You can also pick the online option for just a few more points if you don't want to wait in line. So again, thank you to MoviePass. So Presents is a supernatural thriller directed by Steven Soderbergh, starring Lucy Liu, Sullivan, Callina Liang, and Eddy Maday, and it follows this family that moves into a suburban home, and over the course of them staying there, they realize that they are not alone. Now, the first person to actually realize that there may be a ghost in the house is the daughter. She is currently dealing with some depression due to some friends of hers who recently passed away. It is believed to be a suicide. And so she's just having these dark thoughts, and she is just moving around the house and just feeling that something is watching her, something is following her. And what I like about this film is that it is actually shot from the perspective of the ghost. That is the point of view that you are watching this entire film from. And Steven Soderbergh, he really enjoys, first of all, he enjoys just doing like a lot of different types of movies, especially recently. If you look at his filmography, he's done so much, from Ocean's 11 to Logan Lucky to Unsane, just in so many other movies. And I like the premise of how he shot this movie. And when you watch it, it looks nice, it looks great, but it does not look like a film that costs a lot to make. There's really one location. The biggest actor is Lucy Liu, who's great, but she's not necessarily hot right now. And I think the Callina Liang girl was like a TikTok star. So you get this cheap cast, you pretty much shoot the film yourself in one location, and then you sell it to Neon for $5 million, and it's a horror. Horror movies tend to make a lot of money on these cheap budgets, so I really like what Soderbergh did here. And I'm not sure if this is like Unsane, he did shoot it on an iPhone, but it looks great. Like I said, the cast, while not well known outside of Lucy Liu, they're pretty great. The film also has Julia Fox in it, but she's like in almost a cameo of a role as the realtor. Her role is so small, I feel like you could have cast anybody. Callina Liang, she's like the main family member that she spent a lot of time with, and I actually liked her. I think she did a great job, and I think this is like her first big acting gig. She blew it out of the water. She is a star in the making if she can keep it up. And like I said, I enjoyed the raw emotion that she gave, the way she delivered her lines. Everything felt really emotional. I kind of felt what she was going through. I felt the feelingness of being alone, of not being able to talk to your own family about this, of them thinking you're crazy or drugged out, or that you just need to get over what's happening to you. Everything she was going through, I felt, and I think she did a good job presenting that to the camera. Sullivan, who plays the dad, for some reason, he reminded me of like Louis C.K., just in his appearance and the way he spoke throughout the movie. Like for the first half of the movie, I was like, is that Louis C.K.? But then like a little bit further, I realized it wasn't him. But I really enjoyed his perspective as a dad who's separating from his wife emotionally. He has a daughter who's going through something. He wants to be there for him. He has a son who's acting like an ass, and he wants to kind of make him a better man. And he really wants to fix his family, and he's trying to be the glue to hold everything together, but it's just not working out exactly how he wants it to. So his frustration with how things are going with his kids and his wife and his life in general just felt very believable, and I really enjoyed his acting. Lucy Liu hasn't lost a beat. Really enjoyed her in the role as a mom. There's something going on with her and her job, and something that may be illegal. Is a plot line that is thrown in there, but they don't really dive into it too much, and I kind of wish they did. But that kind of drives some of the wedges between her and her husband. But as the audience, you're like, well, what's actually going on here? Is this important? But the fact that they don't dive into that kind of takes us out of it. So a weird thing about the movie is that in the beginning, when the family moves into the new house, it is showing that they're trying to get into a new school district, But as things progress within the plot and you find out, more about what's going on with the daughter, it really seems like her and her brother are going back to the same school, even though they moved into this new house. So that was a bit odd to me. And at a certain point, the entire family does, of course, realize that they are living with a ghost. And then there are some decisions made that I really don't want to spoil the movie to talk about, but I don't think they're necessarily the smartest decisions. There is a great twist when you find out exactly what the ghost is. I think that is fantastic, although it does leave some plot holes in the overall story. And Soderbergh sets up some rules for exactly what the ghosts can do. I thought that was nice. First of all, we never see the ghost actually go through walls. It seems to behave like a real person, like a door has to be open for him to go through, or the ghost has to open the door. The ghost can pick things up, put things down. The ghost can use some type of like psychic ability to like move things from across the room or knock things down, no matter how big they are. It doesn't seem to be able to talk, but it can communicate somehow. Like the sister could hear a sound, and it made it seem like the ghost was making that high-pitched noise that only the sister could hear. Also, it could blow air. Like the sister got close and it like blew. I don't know how that works in terms of you don't have real lungs or how the air motion works. But those are some things it can do. So I like that they set up that it's not your typical ghost. So this movie has great memeability. Like, I cannot wait for somebody to redub this movie, adding lines to the perspective of the ghost. Like, there's so many funny things you could do with that. Like, Scary Movie 6 will definitely probably do it when it comes out. But if you like horror that's not necessarily scary, I think this is something you should definitely check out. Like I said, those minor plot holes do kind of knock it down for me, but I like the acting, I like the mood, I like the setting, I like everything about how this thing was shot, and I like the twist at the end. In terms of the score, I think I'm gonna give it a decent 7.6 out of 10. Now, that is basically the review for this movie. I really do want to talk some spoilers now, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie yet, leave now. I'm jumping into spoilers. So, it's a ghost story, but it turns out it's like a time travel ghost story. The ghost in the movie turns out to be her brother, and basically her brother's friend is a serial killer who's like, he's the one who killed like her other two friends, and he's trying to kill her next. So at the end of the movie, the brother who was drugged by the friend is woken up by the ghost. He goes upstairs to save his sister from being killed, tackles his friend out the window, and they both die. So after that event, the brother's ghost somehow goes back in time to make sure that he saves his sister. And there's like a medium that explains kind of that like ghost, they are confused, they don't know why they are where they are. Just because there's a ghost in your house doesn't necessarily mean the ghost died there or lived there or whatever. It's just that they're trying to figure things out as much as you are. So you're kind of led to believe at the beginning of the film he doesn't exactly know who he is or why he's there. He just has some fixation with Chloe, and you kind of figure out why at the end. But I thought that was a great twist, except for the fact that he intervenes. Like at one point earlier in the movie, the friend tries to drug the sister, and he intervenes by knocking the drug drink off the table. But later in the movie, when the friend is one, about to drug him, and two, about to drug his sister again, he doesn't intervene. He lets himself get drugged. He lets her get drugged. And like I said earlier, he can move things. He can touch things if he wants to. So I don't understand exactly why he lets certain events happen. If they're like fixed points in time and he can't do that, if he can't always touch stuff, if people are looking at him, he can't do it, I don't necessarily know. But that I just find really weird. Another thing that I just found weird is the fact that once the family found out that there was a ghost, they didn't try to communicate with it at all. Like, there's like, oh, well, we have a ghost. Like, there's like the whole scene where they're like, this is an important thing. We actually have a ghost. This is big news. They talk to that one medium and that's it. They don't take it to the news station, any other paranormal people. They don't get a Ouija board. They're just like, they just go on living their lives. So that just kind of felt out of place after finding out you have a real ghost in your house, that you just live your life like normal. And I think that Soderbergh really could have tightened that up and made that better for the movie, because that part of the story just doesn't really line up. I'd like to thank you guys again for joining me for the 4th annual JanuScary special. You can find the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flipfrog. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.